Daniel chapter 5. King Belshazzar hosted a lavish feast for 1,000 of his nobles and reveled in the company of his guests, enjoying wine with them. As the wine flowed, Belshazzar ordered the golden and silver vessels that his father, King Nebuchadnezzar, had taken from the temple in Jerusalem to be brought. He intended these sacred vessels to be used by himself, his princes, his wives, and his concubines for drinking. The golden vessels from the house of God in Jerusalem were brought, and the king, along with his princes, wives, and concubines, drank from them. In their merriment, they praised the gods made of gold, silver, bronze, iron, wood, and stone. Suddenly, during this revelry, fingers appeared, as if from a man's hand, and began writing on the plaster of the palace wall, opposite the lampstand. The king, seeing this eerie phenomenon, was greatly disturbed, and his thoughts troubled him to the point that his strength waned, and his knees shook. In his distress, King Belshazzar summoned the astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers, declaring that whoever could decipher the writing and provide its interpretation would be adorned with a scarlet robe, receive a gold chain for their neck, and become the third ruler in the kingdom. Despite the king's offer, none of his wise men could read the writing or reveal its meaning, further unsettling Belshazzar and leaving his nobles astonished. At that moment, the queen, hearing of the king's predicament and the failure of his wise men, entered the banquet hall. She reassured the king and urged him not to be distressed. She recalled a man in the kingdom, Daniel, who possessed the spirit of the holy gods and was renowned for his wisdom and understanding, similar to the wisdom of the gods. King Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar's father, had appointed him as the master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. The queen recommended summoning Daniel to interpret the mysterious writing on the wall. Belshazzar agreed, and Daniel was brought before him. The king inquired if Daniel was indeed the same Daniel from the captive children of Judah, whom his father had brought from Jerusalem. He had heard of Daniel's wisdom and understanding, as well as his ability to interpret dreams and solve difficult problems. Daniel acknowledged his reputation and the king's offer of rewards but declined the gifts. Nevertheless, he agreed to read and interpret the writing. Daniel began by recounting how God had bestowed greatness, majesty, glory, and honor upon King Nebuchadnezzar, making all people, nations, and languages tremble before him. Nebuchadnezzar could elevate or humble whomever he chose. However, when Nebuchadnezzar's heart became proud, and his spirit hardened with arrogance, he was deposed from his throne and lost his glory. He lived among wild animals, eating grass like oxen, until he recognized that the Most High God holds dominion over the kingdom of men, appointing rulers as he pleases. Daniel admonished Belshazzar for not humbling his heart, despite knowing this history. Instead, he had defied the Lord of Heaven by using the sacred vessels from God's house for a blasphemous feast, praising lifeless gods made of silver, gold, bronze, iron, wood, and stone, which cannot see, hear, or understand. Belshazzar failed to glorify the true God, the one who held his very breath and controlled his destiny. Daniel then revealed the interpretation of the mysterious writing on the wall. Mene, tekel upharsin, he explained. Mene. God has numbered your kingdom and brought it to an end. Tekel. You have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Upharsin. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. In response to Daniel's interpretation, Belshazzar honored his promise and clothed Daniel in scarlet, placed a gold chain around his neck, and proclaimed him the third ruler in the kingdom. That very night, King Belshazzar of the Chaldeans was killed, and Darius the Mede took over the kingdom, being about 62 years old.